Hello friends, welcome back once again to our online educational video channel. Today I am here again to discuss one of the important topic of our digestive system, and this time we are going to discuss about the ATP. Definitely you know very well the ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, and as far as this video is considered, we will restrict our discussion towards the formation of ATPs. So let us move forward to discuss today's topic, ATP. So this ATP, which is also known as adenosine triphosphate, generally it is a nucleotide and it is made up of the three basic units. First one, ribose, which is also known as a sugar unit. Number 2, adenine, it is one kind of nitrogenous base. Third one, it consists of the 3-phosphate group. This can be well understood with the help of this diagram. So what we said, the adenosine triphosphate, it is made up of the three basic subunits. So the very first one, it is the ribose sugar. This ribose sugar at the one end is attached with the 3-phosphate group, and at another end it is attached with the one adenine molecule, that is a nitrogenous base. So when the ribose sugar gets attached to the adenine, the complex is known as a adenosine, and when this adenosine is combined with 3-phosphate molecules, now it is known as adenosine triphosphate. This adenosine triphosphate is also known as the currency of our body. Means it is the only form of or means it is the only molecule which can be used as the energy by our cells. As far as the synthesis of this ATP takes place, it takes place into one of the cell organelles, and we know very well it is the mitochondria. And it is the reason for what the mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of cell or the powerhouse of energy. As far as this ATP is considered, it considered as the end product of three procedures: one, phosphorylation; number 2, aerobic respiration; and number 3, fermentation. What does exactly takes place when the ATP is going to be formed? So it results into the addition of one inorganic phosphate, to the ADP. And whenever there results into the addition of inorganic phosphate to the ADP, it results into the formation of ATP. And this reaction is considered as a highly endothermic reaction. Means during this reaction, heat is absorbed. The enzyme definitely is required for the synthesis of ATP, and this time the name of that enzyme is ATP synthase. So ATP synthase is an enzyme required for the synthesis of ATP. Now as far as the formation of ATP is considered, it generally takes place by the two major mechanisms. The first one is a substrate level phosphorylation, and second one oxidative phosphorylation. So let us get introduced one by one to this substrate level phosphorylation and oxidative phosphorylation. So the very first one, what is substrate level phosphorylation? So substrate level phosphorylation is nothing but where we derive the energy ATP from the higher energy substrate by converting it into the lower energy substrate. So it can be also said that the substrate level phosphorylation involves the formation of ATP by direct transfer of phosphate group to the ADP, as we discussed earlier. There are various reactions that take place with the help of substrate level phosphorylation. So the reactions involved in the glycolysis, the two reactions involved in the glycolysis followed by substrate level phosphorylation. The very first one, when 1,3-phosphoglycerate gets converted into 3-phosphoglycerate with the help of enzyme phosphoglycerate kinase. So during the glycolysis, the two reactions takes place. One of that two reaction we said at this point where the 1,3-phosphoglycerate gets converted into 3-phosphoglycerate. And remember the name of enzyme, the phosphoglycerate kinase, which carry out this reaction. So during this one, ATP is formed, and this ATP is formed just because of what? The high energy substrate. So 1,3-phosphoglycerate is considered as high energy substrate. It gets converted into 3-phosphoglycerate, which is considered as a low energy substrate. Just because of what? It liberates the energy, the high energy substrate gets converted into the low energy substrate. The another reaction involved in the glycolysis is the conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate to the pyruvate by the enzyme pyruvate kinase. Definitely we will study all these reactions in detail in the next segment of this video. And now the several reactions in Krebs cycle. The one reaction in the Krebs cycle also takes place by substrate level phosphorylation, and it is the conversion of succinyl coenzyme A into the succinate by enzyme succinate thiokinase. So these three reactions, two from the glycolysis and one from the Krebs cycle, belongs to the mechanism known as a substrate level phosphorylation. So what we discussed earlier, this substrate level phosphorylation involves the formation of ATP and GTP by the conversion of high energy substrate to the low energy substrate, or the lower energy product, correct. The high energy substrate gets converted into the lower energy product. The most important mechanism or the pathway by which the ATPs are obtained, it is the oxidative phosphorylation. While the substrate level phosphorylation produces the ATP, but these ATPs are considered as less efficient. So substrate level phosphorylation considered as the less efficient source of ATP, but it provides the quicker formation of ATPs as compared to the oxidative phosphorylation. And these reactions are important in case of the human erythrocyte which have no mitochondria, or in the cells or in the muscles which are depleted with the oxygen. So the substrate level phosphorylation generally takes place within the erythrocytes where they do not have mitochondria, and in the muscles which are considered as oxygen depleted. Otherwise, the most important pathways for the generation of ATP, it is considered as a oxidative dephosphorylation and not the substrate level phosphorylation. So let us study one by one in detail the reactions related to the glycolysis. So what we said, in the first substrate level phosphorylation, the conversion of 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde along with inorganic phosphate and NAD plus gets converted into 1,3-bis-phosphoglycerate via glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Further, this 1,3-phosphoglycerate gets converted into 3-phosphoglycerate with the help of enzyme phosphoglycerate kinase, forming an ATP molecule. So this is nothing but what? The detailed discussion related to what we discussed earlier. So we said that in glycolysis there are two reactions, and one of that two reaction, it is the first one. You can also prepare the notes with the help of this PowerPoint presentation, so that in order to make it easy for the preparation of your notes, my video has been prepared. You can add all the things to your notes, whatever is shown over the screen. The second substrate level phosphorylation, what we discussed earlier, it is the conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate to the pyruvate with the help of an enzyme pyruvate kinase. So what you have to remember here, the substrate and the product and the enzyme, name of enzyme. So just remember these things. And if you found that there is difficulty in remembering these structures. It is not mandatory for us as far as human anatomy and physiology is considered to remember all this structure. Just you can explain the phosphoenol, the conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate. Just mention arrow gets converted into pyruvate, and during that one ADP gets converted into ATP. So what exactly takes place here? The dephosphorylation of substrate takes place. Dephosphorylation of substrate takes place. So one inorganic phosphate, it is removed and it is added to the ADP, and just because of that the ADP gets converted into the ATP. So it is considered as a phosphate donor, it is considered as a phosphate receiver or the acceptor. So here the dephosphorylation of substrate takes place, while phosphorylation of ADP takes place during the substrate level phosphorylation. The another reaction of a substrate level phosphorylation that also takes place towards the skeletal muscle, where the phosphocreatine in presence of creatine phosphokinase gets converted into the creatine along with ATP. Remember this reaction, the conversion of phosphocreatine to the creatine. So where the ADP gets converted into ATP with the help of enzyme creatine phosphokinase. Definitely here also the dephosphorylation of phosphocreatine takes place, while the phosphorylation of ADP takes place. The another reaction, substrate level phosphorylation reaction that takes place within a TCA cycle, we know very well, that is the conversion of succinyl coenzyme A to the succinate. And during this one GTP is formed, and this GTP is also used in the formation of ATP. So first of all, during this reaction GTP is formed, and further this GTP is utilized in the formation of ATP. So succinyl coenzyme gets converted into the succinate during the substrate level phosphorylation, the reaction that is involved in the TCA, tricarboxylic acid cycle, which is also known as a Krebs cycle. Now the another mechanism, the another pathway by which the formation of ATP takes place, we said the first one substrate level phosphorylation and the second one oxidative phosphorylation. So what does exactly takes place during the oxidative phosphorylation? So definitely it is the process in which ATPs are formed, by the transfer of electron from NADH and FADH2 during the many reactions of glycolysis, fatty acid oxidation and the citric acid cycle. Remember, during the many reactions of glycolysis, fatty acid oxidation and citric acid cycle, the electron rich molecules NADH and FADH2 are produced. These NADH and FADH2 carry out the transfer of electron by a series of electron carriers to the oxygen, resulting into formation of ATPs along with water. So whatever the NADH, FADH2 is obtained by the process or obtained within the reactions of glycolysis, fatty acid oxidation and the citric acid cycle, upon the oxidative phosphorylation in presence of oxygen molecules, ADP molecules and inorganic phosphates, gets converted into 10 molecules of NAD+, 2 molecules of FAD and the 12 molecules of water. So water molecules are going to be formed along with the 34 molecules of ATPs. So as far as the oxidative phosphorylation reactions are considered, the 34 molecules of ATPs are formed. 2 molecules of ATPs are formed during the glycolysis, 2 molecules are formed during the Krebs cycle. So in overall 38 molecules of ATPs are generated when there is a complete breakdown of 1 molecule of glucose. So overall reaction includes the 10 NADH along with H plus ion 2 FADH2 along with 34 ADP molecules plus 34 inorganic phosphate in presence of oxygen yields 34 molecules of ATPs along with 12 molecules of water. So this is our discussion related to the formation of ATPs. So very first one substrate level phosphorylation and the second one oxidative phosphorylation are involved in the formation of ATPs. This question can be asked for the 5 marks. So definitely in the very next lecture we will also discuss about the functions of ATPs. But as far as this video is considered, we will restrict our discussion related to the formation of ATPs. So as usual, thank you very much for watching, and if you found this video useful and beneficial, do not forget to like and subscribe. And for any query, doubt, suggestion, feel free to comment. Thank you once again.